Okay, we're on section 8.1. We're factoring a GCF now and factoring x squared plus bx plus c possibly after that. So Lehman covers this in section 8.2 because he'd already covered factoring a trinomial where the leading coefficient is 1. But I wanted to make sure we understood that GCF is kind of the first thing we always do, and then we get more strategies to cover after that. So that's why I covered things that the way that I did. So in this next one, we're going to see that anytime we have a leading coefficient, in other words, there's a number multiplied by the highest degree term, or the highest degree term is not a square, that we might have a GCF first. So you see when I see this 2 right here, then that's going to tip me off that maybe I have a GCF. So I'm going to look at all 3 terms and see if I do. Ah, yes, I do have a 2. So I'm going to take that 2 out, and that's going to leave me with an x squared plus a 5x plus a 6. But then we can't just say, oh, yep, we're done, brush our hands off and go, finished, go away. What we have to do then is we have to further check to see if the trinomial that we created could be factored. So we're going to say, okay, what are the factors of 6? So 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. And do any of those sum to be the middle term of 5? And yes, the 2 and the 3 do. So now we're going to write down our GCF. Don't forget about it, right? GCF. And then we're going to write down an x with a 2 and an x with a 3. And then we're going to look to the middle sign right there to see what both of these are. And we see they're both going to be pluses. And so this one factors with the GCF and with our factoring when a leading coefficient is 1 strategy. So sometimes it takes more than one factoring strategy in order to finish a problem. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. What do you see in common there? Well, hopefully you said, oh, I see a 5 in common, right? So the first thing you notice is this isn't 1. So look for a GCF. So take out that GCF of 5. That leaves me with x squared in the first term, plus 2x in the second term, minus 3 in the third term. All right, now once we have that, I want to make sure that this is not going to go further, so I have to check it. So leading coefficient of 1, so my factoring strategy says I'm going to take the factors of the constant, 1 and 3, and see if they give me a difference this time, right, of the middle term 2. Oh yes, they do. So this one's going to factor more. So don't forget your GCF, and then an x with a 1 and an x with a 3. And then the bigger one is going to get this sign here, and then the other one gets the opposite. And so now we have a 5 times an x minus a 1 times an x plus 3. Next, again, first thing I see is that there's a leading coefficient. So is it a GCF? Absolutely. So 7 comes out, leaving me with x squared minus 3x and then plus 2. And then again, I have a trinomial here, and I want to see if it will factor, so I try. So I need the factors of the constant, 1 and 2, and I need the ones that sum, and that's going to give us a sum of the middle term, and yep, I do. So this is going to factor further, so I write the 7, and then an x with a 2, and an x with a 1. And then I look to the middle term because it was a sum, right? This goes in both of these, so a minus and a minus. And there we go, 7 times x minus 2 times x minus 1. And then, moving along, oh, this time around we see there's x's all the way across. So the x is our GCF because the highest degree here is in a squared. So x comes out, leaving me with x squared minus 5x plus 6. And again, the trinomial, and I want to factor it, 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. And then I'm looking for those that sum to the middle term, so 2 and 3. So I have an x times an x with a 2 and an x with a 3. And then the middle sign here tells me what these are both, so I get minuses. And there we go. And that's factoring a GCF and using our factoring strategy.